Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Kitana.cosmos. Long time no see. Yes, I've been MIA for, I want to say, over a year. As many of you probably know, the awakening journey might consist of shadow work, reflection, trying to understand the universe, God, energy as best as we can, with the ability to, you know, for the ability to create our realities how we would like to. And in this video, I would like to share with you one thing that is a fundamental understanding for me when it comes to creating my reality. And that is the perception of self. As you know, many people, many of us, and before we have an awakening, we associate with our physical bodies. We associate with this thing here. This is me, right? And when I reflect on that, I also reflect on all of the people, all of the leaders who have spoke about law of attraction and manifesting, the things that they say. And one thing I remember that was said by, I believe, Wayne Dyer, is that God said, "You have me all wrong." I'm a big person, I'm a big believer in the knowledge of manifestation in scripture. I'm a big believer in quantum physics. I believe all of the pieces actually fit together once you understand the fundamentals. And the fundamentals is really just the commonality between all things seen and unseen, in my perspective. And your perspective is what's real, right? Because that's what creates, does it not? So Wayne Dyer, I reflect on that a lot. It says, God said, "You have me all wrong." And his interpretation of that, from what I understand, is that we have a misunderstanding about what God is. And this information, to me, can be perceived in a couple different ways. Not only do we have our perception, or mainly have our perception of God wrong, but when I hear that phrase, I think of me. God said, "You have me all wrong." Was God talking about himself? Was God saying that he's a me? Or was God telling us that who we refer to as me is incorrect? You understand what I'm saying? So who do I say is me? Well, this is me, right? I say this is me. But he says, "You have me all wrong." So that means upon birth, I think this is me. But if I have it wrong, then that means how I'm seeing things is wrong. So that means this actually isn't me. And people have a really hard time believing that, because they're like, "Oh, well, I'm stuck here in a human experience. I'm trapped in this reality." And really, that's just another belief that you are using to create. So we assume this is me because we feel trapped in it, but really, if energy can't be created nor destroyed, then who were you and where were you before you were born? So that's just, you think about it. All right, and one tip that I have for you, I have a couple tricks for you to really connect with what you actually are versus who you think you are, this physical thing, right? This observable thing. We assume we're trapped. We're assuming because we've seen and we see through a very limited perspective. Okay? How much? Answer in the comments. What percentage of our realities do we actually see through our eyeballs? Okay? What percentage do we actually see? For me, if I am seeing only a limited perspective, automatically I'm inquisitive about everything else that I'm not seeing. So I want you to take a look at this picture that I drew, okay? Try not to make it fun of me because I'm not the best artist here, but I could definitely become that version if I wanted to, right? We all could, right? Okay, we don't want to put any limitations on ourselves, but here. So, do you remember this picture from school? Do you remember seeing this? I think if you Google, I think I Googled face and vase optical illusion, right? So if you take a quick look at this, it looks like a vase, right? Okay, or whatever. But you can see it two ways. You see a vase, or you see two faces. So you're either looking at one or the other, correct? It's like when we're born, we automatically see ourselves as this vase, but really, we've got ourselves all wrong. We're so much more than that. We're associating with what seems obvious to the eye when really we aren't. We are more than that. We are more than that. So the same way you can change from looking at the vase to looking at the two faces is the same technique you can use in looking at yourself. And how I do this personally is I suspend the idea of me being my body, me being this human physical thing, okay? So if you use your perspective to make that switch, and I do this by looking at my hands. First I look at my hands. You could do this with me if you want. Look at your hands. Look at your hands. Okay? Now try it. Look at your hands as if they're not yours. Try looking at your hands as if it's not you, and observe them indifferently, like not you. So if you have the ability to look at yourself, you literally have the ability to look at yourself and decide that this isn't you, then who's doing that? Who is doing that action, that mental action? You have the ability to perceive yourself as not yourself. That, to me, gives a bigger idea of what you actually are. So if you disassociate from your body, like this is supposed to be what? Temporary forms and conditions, right? Temporary forms and conditions. We see ourselves change. That's how we know. It's connected to everything else that we see, but it is also limited. So this is a reflection of us, or it's a part of us, a small part of us that we are observing. But behind that, we are so much bigger than that. And so one way I recommend is to, and when you begin to see yourself and your body more like it's yours instead of you, then you begin to have a whole new perspective and appreciation for your experience in general, and you get a better grasp. I call it in the driver's seat. You're in the driver's seat when you're associating yourself with your awareness, your unseen energy versus what you obviously see. So I'm sorry if this was a little confusing, whether I'm right or wrong. This video was meant to help you. If you have any questions about manifesting, the law of attraction, perspective, why it matters, you know, how you see yourself, you're going to get the reality's response is going to be a direct reflection of how you see yourself. So if you see yourself as a physical human being and you're limited to this physical vessel, then that's the reflection you're going to create for yourself, and collectively that's the realities that perpetuate throughout continuous observation. So if you perceive yourself as bigger than that, that's why people say they are God, they are source, they are omnipresent, they are awareness, because you're associating yourself with something that's not visible to the eye. And your power will be directly a reflection of that in your reality. I hope that makes sense. I hope this helped. I want nothing for you but for you to get what you want in this life and to know how to use your powers and to enjoy this. I have so much more content that I'm going to create. I have so much that I need to say. Things such as how I learned about manifesting in the beginning 14 years ago, by the way, leading me to a rabbit hole of all kinds of information that I wanted to be able to put the puzzle pieces together so it made sense to me. I never listened to one teacher. I always reflected within myself to what I thought to be true and how I could make sense of everything together, because everything is one. That makes sense to me. And the commonality between all things seen and unseen, to me, is energy. People say the universe, but we have many universes, and those many universes consist of energy, okay? So I hope this broadens your perspective a little bit. I hope it helps. Please be nice in the comments. If not, who cares? But this is for the people who are on their awakening journey. I call it the awakening awakened, or the awakened awakening, because there's layers to this. We're always understanding more. Like, there's always a deeper grasp we can have on the understanding of this. And, you know, mastery is where it's at. Let's go for mastery, right? So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, if you would like a particular video, please let me know and I will create that for you. So have a good one. Go out there and enjoy your life. Decide that no one can take away from you what you want for yourself. There are no limitations that are in your way unless you choose to subscribe to those, okay? I love you. Have a good one. Have fun creating.